I can't wait to learn from you.
Good. Well, and I remember some of the guys that I called the rugby team at the conference that I could see on here too. Number one, I am not smart. Okay. A part of what I go over and talk to folks about is I want to sound smart. I think by trying to sound smart, you ultimately become a little bit smarter. And you can, and that's when I promote to agents that if we sell final expense, if we sell mortgage protection, I've done it myself, I'll still sell it. I came in from the Medicare space. But this Social Security aspect that I'm going to touch on today, and for the guys at the conference, guys and gals at the conference, you heard a little bit about this, but just some general education for you guys on these taxes, these federal programs that 96% of American workers contribute into. One of them is Medicare that you guys are already learning about. The other is Social Security. Your clients that you're going to do Medicare, they have to sign up for Medicare on SSA.gov, the Social Security Administration website. You guys working in a final expense market, I don't even know what the figure is, but it's huge that the majority of all these folks you're sitting down with are on Social Security and Medicare. That's why you guys want to do Medicare, right, Michaela? It's a cross-selling thing. I got into insurance because I had ambulance companies, and nobody ever had any idea what they were talking about when it came to Medicare, and I could never get paid from them. That's what got me into what we all do together. So the homework or the encouragement that I would give you guys is I'm going to show you on there. You could find all these resources. I sound smarter just because I've done the legwork. I've read up on it. I'm a nerd like that. I look into this stuff. All these taxes and federal benefits and my own federal income tax in the country and the way that it works and tax brackets and all of it. I'm a complete conspiracy theorist too. Okay. But I'm a nerd. That's how I like to do that. I'm a history major. I have my bachelor's degree in history. But some very basic general knowledge. And what I'm going to show you with that general knowledge is how you could use that general knowledge to create a budget for these folks that you're talking to. And especially when it comes to the final expense market. And if you're at the conference, before I even became a national Social Security advisor or did all these free educational workshops, that agent that was there, John, he taught me this a long time ago. And what you could do and how you could use Social Security benefits is that it is the law and the way things work with Social Security benefits, that if you're coming across a married couple, all right, that's there, you could ask them, and they're both over 65 or they're disabled, whatever the situation is. And I'm just going to give you a general outline and I'm going to show it to you guys a little bit. But you could create this budget in the sense that, hey, say Carlos and Marisol are married. Hey, Carlos and Marisol, I see that Carlos, you're 68 years old. Marisol, you're 72. I'm sorry to make you the older one. You're 72 years old.
Well, I'm a sugar mama now.
That's right. That's right. But if they're married folks and you're sitting down talking to them, hey, I'm assuming both of you guys are already collecting your Social Security benefits. Is that correct? Yeah, we're both getting it. Well, do you guys know what happens? Because we're talking to about life insurance and death, right? It's the same thing. Well, hey, do you guys know what happens to your Social Security benefits when either one of you dies on each other? Do either of you two know?
No idea.
Right now, as agents, anybody on the call know what happens to Social Security benefits when either one of them passes away on there, except for Paul? You can't answer this, Paul. I know you already know.
Go back to the office.
Rex
They
says
get
he knows it.
Whichever is the highest one they keep, the other one goes to the wayside.
Exactly. So one of those incomes is going away. So look, and then you could ask them, okay, what approximately are your guys's, what are your Social Security benefits per month? What do you get, Carlos? And he goes in and says, he gets $1,800 bucks. And let's just say these are poor folks and this is all they get. Final expense leads are a lot of poor people. Okay, that's why this strategy is important. Okay, so let me see if I could do this.
I know, I don't know. I've never done it, but
It's
yeah,
gonna
there
look
we
very
go.
elementary. But let's just say, okay, Carlos, you get $1,800. And when we're on the phone, it's different. And we could just do it. You guys do most of your stuff telesales?
Yes, currently.
Okay. So we'd have something a little bit better here on Zoom, but go ahead and take that chart off there, Michaela. We could just do it over the phone and talk about it because it is simple math. But I would go into an appointment like that. If I'm ever in a final expense appointment, okay, and it's a married couple, this is what I use every single time. Is that, hey, I'm assuming you guys are both on Social Security benefits, right? And they go, well, yeah, okay. And I say, and then I give them that same thing. Well, do you guys know what happens when either one of you passes away on each other with the Social Security benefits? Most folks say no. So now you're in this educational situation that you're informing them about this money that's most likely the biggest chunk of money they get in their lives. And to go, well, do you guys know what happened? They say no, say, yeah, well, when either one of you passes away, then the surviving spouse is going to get the greater of. Why I say it like that is because now I want to ask them what they get. And I want to put it in a situation like that. So that when either one of you passes away on each other, the surviving spouse is going to receive the greater of. So approximately, Carlos, how much do you get per month in Social Security benefits?
$1,600.
$1,600. And then Marisol, how about for yourself?
1,800.
You get $1,800.
We up.
Okay, not bad, not bad.
She really is the sugar mama.
Yes.
So Marisol, if Carlos passes away before you, then your household income, where you guys both are at, you're actually going to lose $1,600 in your household income. Okay. And then Carlos, if Marisol passes away before you do, then your benefit amount is actually going to go away. Your $1,600, and you're going to continue to be able to collect the $1,800 because that's the higher amount. But again, if you passed away, your household income is going to decrease $1,600. And that's a big reason why we're meeting today, why you set this call up, is that what smart folks do is that by knowing that that's going to happen to each other, you protect each other from that. And you do that through these platforms that we're doing right now. So your guys' monthly income and Social Security benefits is $3,400. And here's how you create the budget, guys. You just take a percentage of that $3,400. Start at 20% and come down with what's in their budget. Okay? So you guys make $3,400, and I'll do this with rich people too. If I'm trying to sell them, like, I shouldn't say rich, but more lower middle income folks, I'll do the same exact thing to help them mentally create a budget. Consumer behavior. If you're just trying to get them to, hey, this thing's $85, but you could actually show them something through this tax that they've paid all year that we all have in common, and use that as a part of a basis for your call. You know, that's one of the main reasons why I'm calling you here today, Carlos, is to be able to protect your wife when that happens, because it's guaranteed that we're going to pass away. And as of right now with your Social Security benefits, it's guaranteed that one of those incomes is going away. So what smart folks do is, by knowing that, they prepare for that. And here's how you do that. So you guys make $3,400 a month in Social Security benefits. And most of the time, if you guys use this strategy, I already have the numbers calculated out. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's if I called them before. You guys are on the phone on the first time through. But that's $680 a month. 20%. And go down. You know, most folks in general, you know, that's 20%, but most folks, they put away, knowing that this is going to happen to either one of them when they pass away. Most folks do around 10%, 10, 5%. You guys could work however percentages you want in your sales script, but 3,400 times, that's 10% is $340. So you could create budgets, and in the final expense space, right, that we could go down and be like, look, just putting away simply 4%, 3%, 5% of your Social Security benefits, knowing that one of these incomes is going to go away, and either one of you are going to be in a bad spot. You can even create more value that when you explain to them that, hey, Carlos, if your wife dies on you first, then your benefit amount of $1,600 is actually going away, and you're only going to continue to receive the $1,800 that your wife was receiving. Are you going to be able to make it with $1,800 a month?
No way.
So what other solution do they, you know what I'm saying? So prepare for that and ask them that right there at that point too. Okay, can you make it on just, when that income goes away, can you make it on $1,800 a month? All right, so let's just take a very small percentage of your Social Security benefits per month, and I'll do the math right there, and start putting that away for when that day comes that you guys are prepared. Okay, and so you can get that thing all the way down, because you're trying to sell them both if they're married, right? So, you know, a budget, you know, of anywhere between 100 to infinity would work, right? But that's how you use the Social Security benefits. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
If you do a discovery call in front of them, you could do the same thing. Hey, and so here's for some general knowledge on Social Security benefits. Let me go ahead and share my screen here with you.
Real quick, Josh, they had Joe had a question. Do they have to be married 7+ years to get the higher benefit? That's 7 years, right?
No. So
No?
I will actually, I'll show you guys that. I'll
Okay,
pull up.
well, thank
So if the folks are divorced, to be able to receive spousal benefits off of a former spouse, you had to have been married for at least 10 years. Folks that are currently married, that happens right away, as soon as they become officially married. Now, for that new spouse to be able to receive a survivorship benefit, you know, say that person dies 6 months later, they would have had to have been married for at least a year. Or I'm sorry. The survivorship benefits in place for the actual spousal benefit while they're both still alive. And I don't want to get you guys all confused on this stuff either. For the spousal benefit while they're both still alive, they would have had to have been married for at least a year, and then they could turn on a spousal. This thing pull up here. Our faces. I hate that about Zoom. Okay, we're going to take you guys into. So just, I'm going to start the slide. I'll just start it here so you guys can see it on full screen. So just a little bit of general knowledge on this, you guys. And I'm telling you, it is so important. If you want to create, let me pick on somebody here. I know you guys, most of you guys are young on here, but for how much in common does a 20-something have with a 60-something?
Not much.
Okay. I mean, there could be. I mean, we live in the same country. We all use all this type of stuff. I'm sure you guys are good with just being in sales and being able to create some of that rapport. But what I found to be able to create that rapport, at least for myself and other folks that we work with, is I know 96% of the people I'm going to call are either contributing money to these programs right now. You guys are all paying for these right now. Every single one of you on here. You're making a 1099 or W-2 income. It's something we all have in common. I said it at our seminar. You ever want a reminder that we're all on the same stinking team, no matter with all this shit that's thrown at us right now in politics and race and religion and gender and what you are? And you ever want a reminder we're all on the same team? Take a look at your pay stub. Take a look at our taxes. Take a look at these federal programs like Social Security and Medicare. They don't care what gender you are, what religion you are. Doesn't matter. It's all crap. Because when it comes to how we actually operate and what takes care of people and all these things that we contribute to, we're all on the same stinking team. So it's very beneficial to know these types of things or to be able to chat it up. Or when you look at the age of that lead that you're looking at and you're first eligible for Social Security benefits at the age of 62 and they're over 62, it's a question that you could ask them. Hey, I see here that you're 66 years old. Are you already receiving your Social Security benefits? Okay. And if you know some general information on it, it makes you sound smart. Right? That's why I was shaking my head like that or saying that. I always say that. I use this because it makes me sound smart. It creates credibility with my clients. So just a little bit of a background on this. This program started in 1935 after the Great Depression by FDR. Okay, this is one of his part of his New Deal and these social programs to, so to speak, get America back into gear again. All right, a couple years later in 39, they added these things, the spousal benefit, the survivorship benefit, and this minor children for folks that are on benefits that have minor children inside of the home. By the way, too, you guys are a part of our group and our network. You have me as a resource. You have some of these weird questions that we're going to go over that you don't understand about. Oh, well, I have this client and they said their husband died a while ago, but they didn't get a survivorship. There's a whole bunch of goofy stuff. You guys can send that up the line and I'll answer that question for you. Okay. That's a part of the benefit of you guys being with our network and our company. They hired, that's originally why they hired me years ago. I'm still an agent, but was because I'm a national Social Security advisor and I did all these educational workshops and stuff. They wanted that resource for their agent base. They need to give me a raise. These cost COLAs, these cost of living adjustments, you guys see that? Maybe somebody wants to talk about it, but look it up. The cost of living adjustment that just happened for folks on Social Security benefits was 6%. That was like a big deal for all your clients. You could use that to create a budget. Hey, I know that you just got cost of living adjustments on top of your Social Security benefits of 6% this year. Maybe you could start preparing for your family and everything else to get this taken care of. It's another way to use it to create a budget. So here's the problems with Social Security, and you could talk about this with folks. When this thing was first set up, our average life expectancy as Americans then was under the age of 60. But the full retirement age, when people could receive their full benefit amount, started off at 65. We weren't even supposed to live long enough to collect. Take us to today's world, and you guys already know the estimated lifespans. Mid-80s, males and females. When this thing, the first year this thing paid benefits, we had 41 workers contributing to the system to every one person collecting. In today's world, it's 2.8 workers to every one person collecting. So you can see the math problem here. We have a decreasing retiree to worker ratio with an aging population. This Social Security system was really set up, and there's famous quotes in here too, like insurance. It was insurance if you lived too long. All right, but take us all the way back to the 1930s. The poverty rate in people 55 and older was over 50% of the population. If you didn't have somebody to take care of you, or you couldn't work and earn, you were basically left for dead on the streets. In today's world, our seniors 65 and older, less than 10% of the population is in extreme poverty like that. And there's a lot more to it, but I want to be general with you guys today too. I'll go over this just for shits and giggles, just for maybe people that are in there, but how Social Security actually works, like the math behind it, okay? And why everybody's thinking this is going away, why this is the driving force for all these conversations about everybody's estimating taxes are going to go up in the future. We're in these tax cuts right now, and it's guaranteed that they're up in the year 2026. 88% of the federal income tax that we all pay together goes to Social Security and Medicare. Why taxes are estimated to go up in the future is because of that math I just showed you regarding Social Security. And Medicare's worse. You're bringing people this information with a heads up. This is the way it's going. Now prepare for it. We bring you the information. It's up to you to make your own educated decision on what you want to do. But Social Security, ever since 1937 and the first year that they paid benefits, all the way up to 2018, we always had a surplus, which means the tax dollars collected were enough to pay the benefits owed. And that surplus all those years was going into purchasing US Treasury funds right here. You could see almost $3 trillion in US Treasury funds. 2018 was the first year, after 2018, the first year that we had a deficit, which the tax dollars collected were not enough to pay the benefits owed. And that was the first year that we had to go, because it's illegal for Social Security to operate in the red. Okay, they can't collect $100 and pay you $150. That was the first year we had to go in and sell US Treasury funds to pay the benefits owed. Okay, so that's why on everybody's Social Security statement, there's a paragraph below where it says and tells them what they're going to get. And the paragraph says, hey folks, it's estimated by the year 2034, the payroll taxes collected in the Social Security Administration are only going to be able to pay 79 cents to the dollar of benefits owed. This is another way to create a budget, if you know this. So look, Mr. and Mrs. Client, that's what and that statement's changed over the years. It's when they do the math at the end of the year, when they come out with that statement. It's been the year 2035. It's been 80 cents. It's been 76 cents. It changes on the math, but knowing, so the same thing with the death, but you guys knowing that they're estimating a 21% reduction in your Social Security benefits in about 13 years. And if you guys are married in the same household, it's actually going to be a 42% reduction. Knowing that that's coming, wouldn't you guys want to prepare for that? If you guys had a 42% reduction of your household income in the year 2034, are you going to be able to make it? And you know that knowledge and you're bringing that to them. I use that in advanced sales and IULs and annuities and all that. I use that all the time. Final expense, if they're pressing back on me, you know, from that standpoint, then I may go a little bit deeper, but I have that game right now. But it's, again, it's another way for you to create a budget. Okay. Here's an example of 2017, the last year we had a surplus. Our country took in 997 billion, including administrative costs and everything else. It cost us 953. There was a remaining surplus of 44 that went into purchasing US Treasury bonds. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Potential changes. I'm going to say this to you guys because these are like some cool things that you could say to folks. And if you know them, it makes you sound smart, creates credibility. They want a smart person like that to buy some final expense from, because now I'm your client and I can call you. Like this dude told me about Social Security. I wonder, my aunt, well, you know what? My aunt has a question about that. I bet you Alex can answer it. It creates referrals as well too. Or even if you dig for them and you got to send a question up the line and bring them back the info, it's going to create credibility. It's going to create referrals. But there's an earnings cap on Social Security. You know, if somebody's bitching to you, oh, my Social Security, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Say, yeah, I know it's got to be fixed, but look, you know, there's an earnings cap on Social Security, right? And you can pick on rich people that, yeah, there's an earnings cap that's at like $143,000. So for all these rich people in our country that make more than that, they only have to pay Social Security tax up to $143,000. Isn't that a shame? We need to do something about that, right? And that's one of the things that they talk about changing our math problem, is raising that earnings cap. That's what I say to people. Say, yeah, that's one of the major topics with Social Security benefits. All of my clients, for the most part, are all on Social Security. So I make it my job to be educated on Social Security and what things are coming down the pipeline to educate my customers and my clients. But that's one of the big talks with Social Security, is raising that up to 450,000. They say it'll fix our math problem about 4 to 5 years. But I'll try to get into that conversation with them a little bit before I try and sell them life insurance. I just created some credibility with them. That's the only one I'll go there. Talk about delaying the retirement age. That's a cool thing to know. Know the earnings cap. And if somebody's bitching about Social Security, you could use that to create a little bit of value. This is my Social Security joke. So with all that crummy math that I just went over with you, how can you help as these young workers, right? Well, you could make voluntary donations on the Social Security website at ssa.gov to help our country out.
World peace.
So here's an example, you guys. See this paragraph? This paragraph's super important to know. Right here, after the Medicare part. Your estimated benefits are based off of current law. Congress has made changes to the law in the past and can do so at any time. The law governing benefit amount may change because by 2035, the payroll taxes collected will be enough to pay only about 79% of scheduled benefits. You could use that to create urgency. You could use that to emphasize the importance of having life insurance, to protect your beneficiaries, to protect your family. Works better with married folks because they're thinking about each other, and you can play off of that. We'll just flip through this. This is more for advanced sales of how I use Social Security, but Social Security is not supposed to be your sole income in retirement. You're supposed to have a three-legged stool: pensions, 401k plans, life insurance, annuities. This is another cool thing to sound smart on the phone to create credibility. Everybody born in 1942, their full retirement age is 65 and 10 months. Everybody born between 1943 and 1954, their full retirement age is 66. It doesn't matter where you were, if you were born in another country, whatever. It's just the year that you were born in. So when I'm on the phone with somebody and I want to maybe create value with Social Security benefits, or I want to ask them, hey, are you, you're 67 years old. I'm assuming, are you already taking your Social Security benefits? But if they tell me, or I know their birthday, that they're born in 1958, I'll be like, well, yeah, no, I see here that you're born in 1958. Your full retirement age where you're eligible for your 100% of your Social Security benefits was 66 and 8 months. Oh, yeah. How'd you know that? Well, all the folks born in 1958, their full retirement age is 66 and 8 months. I know all of my clients, for the most part, are all on Social Security benefits. So I make sure that I'm educated on that so I could help my clients out. And you could just pull that stuff up, you guys. You can just pull it up on ssa.gov, or you could just Google full retirement age Social Security benefits. I know this by heart for the most part.
Just to clarify, that means that they're gonna get their full max amount at that age?
So what they could actually do, how this chart works. So somebody born in 1958, let's just go there. 66 and 8 months is when they're eligible for their 100% of their benefit amount. That's what it's gauged off of as we work. Social Security benefits are calculated off of your highest 35 years of earnings. So if you're talking to somebody that's 60 and they're making some of the best money of their life, then their Social Security benefit amount is actually ticking up. But folks are eligible to pull it as early as age 62. And if somebody pulled it at 62, that's what this 71.7% is that they would get, if they pulled at 62, they would get 72% of their full retirement age benefit that they're eligible for at 66 and 8 months. And people could also delay all the way up to the age of 70. And each year that they delay, it's an 8% annual increase. All right, that's getting pretty technical though, and going through a bunch of it. Or how these things work. Spousal benefits, you guys, to make them simple, because I know that we're getting a little, well, we still got about 15 minutes or so. If the married folks are still alive and they say, and you're like, hey, do you guys, I'm assuming you guys are on Social Security benefits. And the one of them says, oh, well, I get a spousal benefit off of him. What that means is that spouse is getting 50% of what this person's benefit amount is. So if I go back to the scenario that we used earlier, and Marisol was $1,800, she was a bigger amount. Let's just say Carlos never worked a day in this country. He's not even eligible for Social Security benefits off of his own earnings record, but he's married to a worker. He's eligible for the spousal benefit. Same thing. If you're collecting Social Security benefits, you could go marry somebody from a completely different country. And if they come and live here with you, they could start taking half of your Social Security benefits and a spousal benefit. Okay? It's as simple about as I could make that. There's some other things inside of there, but that's about as simple as I can make it. If they say, oh, well, I actually get spousal benefits off of my husband, then your only question is going to have to be, okay, well, what roughly do you receive per month in Social Security benefits, Carlos? Oh, $2,000. Okay, so your spouse, it makes you sound smart if you know that. And she said, oh, I get spousal. You could say, oh, then your spousal benefits right around $1,000 a month. Yeah. Okay, perfect. 50%. Now for the divorced folks, if you were married to somebody for longer than 10 years and you aren't currently married, there's an age parameter in there. But if you didn't get remarried before the age of 60, or you did and you got divorced again, you may be somebody who was married 3 times and you're divorced from all 3, married to all 3 of them longer than 10 years. When you're ready for Social Security benefits, you better pick the richest ex. Social Security Department is supposed to give you the greater of, but you'd be technically eligible off of all 3 if you were married to him for longer than 10 years. So my ex-wife wanted, she'd have left me a little after 10 years. She knew this. I gave her a Social Security workshop, For the folks that were divorced before, and you may run into this sometimes, or maybe you guys know people that they waited to get married until they were after the age of 60. Well, you could have been divorced before and eligible off of that former spouse. And if they would have gotten remarried before the age of 60, they wouldn't be eligible off that spouse. But if they get remarried after the age of 60, then that doesn't disqualify them from being, that works in the survivorship too. So you may have somebody that lost a spouse at 56, and you're actually eligible for the survivorship benefit starting at the age of 60 earlier. And even though that person maybe died way before they were eligible for Social Security benefits, that surviving spouse is still going to be able to start receiving their full retirement age benefit off of that deceased worker. And so people that are maybe getting remarried, they'll wait until after the age of 60 so they could still get that survivorship benefit. But if you guys run into that, like I said, you guys could use it from the standpoint that, oh, you know what? We actually have a national Social Security advisor here at our company, on our team and our firm, whatever you use. And just let me get some basic info off you, and I could actually get those questions answered for you. All right, get you set up. If there's more advanced sales there, then I may even possibly, sit down with them, on a Zoom call and do that with them. You guys are also going to have the option too. I don't know how much, but you guys could use this as a driving force, or we could set up an educational workshop, once a month, once a quarter, that you guys can actually invite your clients to, or potential clients into a Social Security workshop to do something like this. It goes a little bit different with clients because I'm talking to you guys as agents. Okay.
Would those be good for like kind of Medicare as well? Or is that compliant? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I go over Medicare in my Social Security workshops, and I started doing Social Security because of Medicare when I was a Medicare agent, because all my Medicare clients, there'd be tons of Social Security questions.
Cool.
And I had no idea. This right here, and getting towards the end, this is the earnings test with Social Security benefits. So you guys may come across younger folks that are 62 and it may go, oh, well, they could start collecting. Well, if you make too much money and you're under that full retirement age that we talked about, that's 66 and 10 months, anybody born after 1960, your full retirement age is 67. So anybody that's under that age, and if you're making too much money, it could be a drastic mistake for you to file early and take that reduction, because you could possibly get it all. They don't give you anything. So basically, if you earn over 20 grand and you're under your full retirement age, anything up and above you make above that 20 grand, it's a 1 to 2 reduction in your Social Security benefits. Okay. So if your Social Security benefits are $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, and you're making 40 grand, $20,000 over the limit, half of that is 10 grand. They're going to reduce the 12 grand that you're supposed to get from Social Security by 10 grand. So you're only going to get 2. Okay. But you guys may run across, this is a big deal to know this and how you could create money and create value. You may run across a 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. That's poor. That's working a job and making $20,000 a year, 18,000, 15,000, even up a little bit because the reduction might make sense, $25,000. And you could say to him, you could say, well, are you collecting your, I know that you're working, but are you collecting your Social Security benefits? No, I'm working. I won't get anything. Well, how much approximately do you make per year? Because what you're referring to is the earnings test with Social Security. And really no type of reduction comes into play until you make above $20,000 a year. And you just told me that you make $18,000 a year. So I know that you could actually pull your Social Security benefits right now without any type of reduction or the earnings test affecting you. And basically the very bare minimum for everybody is about 12 G's a year. You think you just created a budget for some life insurance? Ah, absolutely. So keep those little tidbits like that in your mind, because if you bring your clients info like that, I mean, it just puts you on a whole different level. And I think that one's a really, really big deal for you guys in your wheelhouse and where you're selling, is that you're going to run into a lot of these people, a lot of them. Maybe poor that don't have money, but they don't know this. They don't know that they could turn their Social Security on without the earnings test affecting them. Because if they call in, you guys, the Social Security Administration is not giving them anything. It's illegal for them to advise any of us on our Social Security benefits. They can't do it. So that's really, really cool for you guys to be able to use and to create budgets. This is just how Social Security benefits are taxed. It's not really in your guys' wheelhouse. That's when folks receive their checks. This is another thing that can make you sound smart, is that if their birthday's between the 1st and the 10th, they get their Social Security check every second Wednesday of the month. 11th to the 20th, the third Wednesday, 21st to the end. You know, I've used that before. That when we were going over budgets or their money or whatnot, oh, I don't get my Social Security check till the end of the month. Oh, you know what? Your birthday must be between the 21st and the end of the month. Everybody gets their Social Security checks with birthdays in that realm on the 4th Wednesday of each month. Okay. So, and then see, I go over Medicare a little bit here at the end of it and everything else, because they're one and the same, different benefits, a little bit of different programs, but they all go through your Medicare benefits, run through the Social Security Administration. So with that being said, and just for the last half here, last 10 minutes, I'm just going to open that up to questions from you guys.
I have kind of like a scenario. So I got, I guess, a test scenario. Like I had a client who his wife passed away, but she was disabled. And he was talking to me, it was kind of about this. He was saying he was trying to get some of her Social Security benefits, but how does that play if they were disabled? I know it was something about age 50, right?
Yep, because Social Security disability is a whole different animal. So what I just went over with you guys is plain old Social Security benefits. But when we're talking about Social Security disability, you're actually first eligible for Social Security disability at the age of 50. Some very unique folks, just like with Medicare, which you guys know, like kidney failure, Lou Gehrig's disease, are able to get the disability earlier. But in general, it's at the age of 50. And the cool part about that is if somebody gets approved for Social Security disability at a younger age, let's just say right at the age of 50, they actually start receiving the amount of money that they were eligible for at their full retirement age. Let's just say they were born in 1960, so at the age of 67. That's another thing too with creating budgets, is that people may qualify for Social Security disability and they don't know. Or you're running across somebody that's poor and they're disabled, or you're asking them their health questions, and you could ask them, well, you know, if they're 58 years old and they just told you that, man, I can't work. I'm on workers' comp. I'm on disability from my job. I had to have a back surgery, and, you know, I had cataracts in my eyes. You could say that to them. Well, have you applied for your Social Security disability? They'll go, well, I don't know. I don't know. Some say, yeah. But you could use that to be able, again, to educate them on that and be like, well, yeah, well, if you get approved for that, I know you're only 58 years old. You technically aren't eligible for Social Security until the age of 62. But when we're talking about Social Security disability, you're actually eligible for that at the age of 50. And here's the thing is that if you get approved for that, you're going to get the amount of money that you're actually eligible for. You're born in 1958, that you're actually eligible for at 66 and 8 months. It's a big deal. When I talk to people about their income, what's going to happen when they pass away, these final expense policies that we're going over, that's a big deal when it comes to the math and the numbers. And over your estimated lifespan, that's going to be tens of thousands of dollars of more money for you. Okay. And the way that they're able to do that, and I always say, like, look, I'm not a Social Security disability attorney. You know, I know how Social Security works, but and I can't fill out Social Security disability applications for you. But the best way to go about and do that is that you need to go to SSA.gov and fill out the application for Social Security disability. Okay. And that right there could create, at least in their minds, or about spending money with you or protecting their family, that, hey, I got this money coming down the road, or wow, I'm going to be able to collect so much more money than what I thought I was going to be able to. And then again, from a referral basis or being able to educate them on that creates a lot of value. So when their friends have a question or something, and they call you, and then we could sell them some life insurance. It's a free lead. That's what I like best about it. Free lead.
And I wanted to ask too, before we open it up for everyone else, when we met with you, I remember you saying something about Social Security being taxed up to like 85% or something when their income's over 40K, right? As a household income. Is that still?
Yeah, I'll go back to it. I skipped
Because
it.
I know that we weren't technically going over the IUL stuff, but we did just get back from the extravaganza. And honestly, I would love for you to kind of talk about how you can use those Social Security, like the income, you know, they can take it early to use that, put into an IUL, tax-free. They can, those are really good tools, I think, that a lot of us aren't utilizing.
Yeah, so a lot of the topics that I just touched on, and I was more so focusing up on poor folks, but
Yeah.
using high income folks, that you may have a married couple and, you know, the wife isn't working. Let's say that the husband's still working and the wife isn't working, and she's 64. And she's eligible to turn on her own Social Security benefits off her own earnings record. Right? But and we know the earnings test isn't going to affect her because she's not making any money herself. And you could use all those Social Security benefits and redirect them at a debt action plan or a participating cash value whole life insurance plan. I do that all the time with the Debt Free America platforms and all that good stuff. Or redirect that at an IUL and get them out of debt so her husband can retire. And they'll have no debt and a paid off mortgage. The thing that I encourage people to do at the seminar too, I mean, to sound smart again, is memorize the tax brackets. It's really easy. Like this, all you have to do, I'm going to pop out of here real quick, is Google federal income tax brackets 2022. You just pull up a chart. Which one do I want? We'll go to taxfoundation.org. Maybe that's an ugly one. Okay, there you go. So this year, The 10% bracket for single filers is 0 to 10,275 bucks. Married individual filings, let's just go for households, is 0 to $14,650. This is below the poverty line. The 12% bracket for single folks is $10,000 to $41,000. Married folks, 55,000, or I'm sorry, 14,000 to 55,000. 22% bracket, single folks, 41K to 89K. Married and households, 55 to 89K as well. The 24% bracket. Well, I was telling you, I'm sorry, you guys. I should have been reading you the middle column for married folks filing joint returns.
We got it. I think.
Okay, all right. So
It's okay.
But this is a really big deal right here, and I think this is what you were referring to, Michaela. Is in this 22% and 24% tax bracket for folks that make a little bit more money. And let's just say they're lopsided moving into their retirement right now, you guys. I just talked to you about where taxes are on sale right now. We are in these tax cuts, Trump cuts, call them whatever you want to call them. It's guaranteed that they're up in the year 2026. Why everybody's estimating these taxes are going to go up? One of the main reasons why I just showed you is that math on Social Security and the math on Medicare takes up 88% of the federal income tax that we all pay together as a country. So if you are these folks getting ready to retire and you're lopsided, which means you got all your money saved up in a 401k plan that is tax deferred. That means they haven't paid the tax on it yet. And if they wait till the year in 2026 and this 22% tax bracket doubles, what just happened to that money, Michaela?
Cut in half almost.
That's right. So the topic and what folks are doing now is that if you're a married couple, I'll just use the 22% bracket, for example, and you're a married couple making $100,000 a year, you have $78,150 to play with in your income tax bracket right now. That you could literally make another $78,000 without moving out of the 22% tax bracket. That what folks are doing right now and considering is on that saved money, getting away from being this forever tax money into never tax dollars, is that they're doing a spin down, or they're choosing to pay the tax right now while they know what it's going to be at 22%, and getting away from being lopsided and mitigating that risk that if their tax bracket goes up or doubles in 2026, they just lost a whole bunch of their retirement savings to Uncle Sam and the federal government. That's a spin down. If somebody chooses to do that, do you guys have somewhere where they could put that extra $78,000 a year?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We hide it in life insurance.
That's right. Or an annuity.
Or an annuity.
But they'd want to pay the tax now. That's the whole strategy. And even if they haven't retired yet, okay, they're over the age of 59 and a half and they could take it out. It's still an option. Okay, but you're bringing them that information. People don't know these things by heart, the tax brackets. It's 24%, it's even bigger. Married folks, it's between 178K all the way up to 340K. Okay, you could show them plans when we're talking about debt-free America and getting people completely out of debt, including their mortgage, in 7 to 9 years or less without spending any additional money than what they're currently spending. I did a case yesterday with an agent. He wrote this dude like a $200,000, a little over $200,000 annuity about a year and a half ago. He went back and reset him on this Debt-Free America platform, and he is funding his participating cash value whole life insurance plan with taking the 10% free withdrawal out of his annuity per year to fund that policy for 6 years to get him completely out of debt, pay off his mortgage, and then have that policy there and still have over 100 something left in his annuity. And he's not spending any additional money. Okay. So you could use that. And by knowing some basic crap about our country and the tax brackets and where they fall at, it not only makes you sound smart, okay, but it incorporates all these other strategies. And it's really about being able to create urgency by using education that, hey, this is coming. It's your choice to do something about it or not. Here's some ideas. Here's some things you could do. I forget what else I was going to say. Well, I guess that was it. It's about sounding smart. It's about creating value. It's about creating urgency. And it's about educating them on what's coming. Okay. And you could just pull these things up right in front of them. Right in front of them. That's what I do on my Zoom appointments. We're going to go into this tax conversation. I pull this up right here. I show it to them right in front of their face. Google it with me. Okay. But creating that, we're creating budgets. We're finding these inefficient dollars to redirect. Just using the soul. I love it for you guys. If I want you to take anything out of this, it's the first thing that we went over. And that paragraph on people's Social Security statement about their reduction coming. For you guys in these final expense sales on the phone to get into that. Say, hey, well, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, I see that you guys are both here over the age of 65. I'm assuming you're taking your Social Security benefits. Oh, you guys are? Okay, do you know what happens to those Social Security benefits when either one of you passes away on each other? Yeah, actually, yeah, one of those incomes is going to go away. So let me ask you, Michaela, if your husband passed away on you tomorrow and your Social Security benefits completely went away and you only received his, could you make it? Well, that's the biggest part of our call today is I'm here to protect you. That's what I do for my clients. And knowing that that's coming down the road, what smart folks do is what we're going to do here today.
And that's
So-
where you're adding the 10, and then you say most people would take about 10%, and that's where you're freeing up $340 of their budget. Is that
Yeah,
where?
from that line right there, and that's literally exactly what I do with folks. From that right there, I say, approximately how much do you guys get per month in Social Security benefits? You know, $3,000. Okay. How much of that roughly is from your husband and from you? But I only want the gross figure, so I don't even really care at that point.
Right.
If I had to create value for telling them what goes away, but at that point, if I said it like that, I say, well, roughly what do you guys get per month in Social Security benefits? Oh, $3,000. Okay. So knowing that that's coming down the pipeline, let's just go ahead and take 10% of that $3,000 a month. Okay. $300. And then that's your budget right there. And then you could come down from there. You could start at 20%. You can start wherever you want. That's up to you guys. But I say, let's just take a small figure, knowing that that's coming down the pipeline. Let's just take a small figure of those Social Security benefits that you guys receive per month. And let's start getting that directed at a plan to protect you and your husband from that. Because it's inevitable that that's going to happen. So let's get prepared for that.
I like that.
And that could literally be a whole entire final expense appointment. I mean, literally that archaic. It can. And try it out. I mean, I hope it works for you guys and you guys write a whole bunch more life insurance business off of it. Okay. And it helps emphasize a budget for people that are tighter on money because you're using these rules and regulations and the inevitability of dying and that money going away. It's a no-brainer. And if they deny it from that point, it's like, I can't help you. I've already told you exactly what's going to happen. You know, what if we even just took 2%? You know, I mean, you could keep coming down, right? You start high and you could keep coming down, but you've created this urgency, this value. And with it, what's going to happen? I'm not just making that shit up. We go look it up. Go right here to SSA.gov. You can take them if you're on Zoom. You can take them right in there. SSA.gov. Let's go. Okay. And they can look any of that stuff up. You guys come right in here. You could search it. Search anything you want in there.
Yeah, I think I need to start utilizing this more because I'm just I tell them, and I know a lot of our agents tell them that, but then maybe they don't believe me or whatever, if it's a telesale, but if I'm like, yeah, you go ahead and go and pull up SSA.gov right now, go ahead and pull it up, look up survivorship benefit. I think that'll be really
And you could even
beneficial.
pull up, you could find something in here that you like just for some little quick verbiage. And you
Yeah.
could even, have it just as a snippet, send it to them.
Yeah, true.
You could do that as well too. I like them on Zoom just because, excuse me, they can see my computer screen, but it's
Yep.
easier to get them on the phone. But a lot of folks, I would say people are more educated on that in today's world than they were 8 years ago.
Yeah, 'cause it's all over the place
Yeah, there's
now.
more information out there about it. When I first started doing this, nobody had any idea what the hell was going on. And there was other strategies available too. Oh, you know what? I gotta get off, you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're getting over
I
an
got a 1
hour,
o'clock
but
appointment.
I think we got everything, but thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And you guys, is it okay if I put your number in our Slack group? So in case they have a client, they can call you.
Yeah, or I mean, depending on how you want to do that, or they could send it, send it up the line and you could send it over to me.
Cool.
However you guys prefer to do that.
Okay, thank you so much. You have a
Okay,
good
you're
rest of your
welcome.
day.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.